I have tried making scones before. My first attempt was in Texas, and I was so lazy that I used the 3-ingredient scone recipe, and I hate to say they were not awesome. You can watch that video if you want to see that disaster unfold in my kitchen. They just weren't puffy enough. They tasted decent, but I was not happy with their appearance. So here I am today in Herefordshire with my Welsh friend Emma, and we are going to try to make scones using the BBC Good Food Classic Scone recipe. We have also watched my friend Danny at Black Cat Kitchen. Her channel, she has a tips for making perfect scones recipe. Now, I don't know how many of those we will be following because we don't have enough time and we didn't plan ahead and freeze grated butter the night before. But next time I make scones, I'm definitely following Danny's tips. We have lots of flour, but might not have the raising flour we need for today's recipe. So we might have to pop to the shop. So we're setting the oven to 200 fan.
And we're just speeding it up, and we're putting the trays inside.
Ooh, power boost activated. This sounds like...
We're going in turbo mode. And then putting the trays in so they get warm.
Oh, the trays are warm. Okay, excellent. This is science fiction scones. We're in turbo mode.
We're doing self-raising flour to start with. I'm doubling with the recipe because I have a big family.
Yes.
And a big appetite.
And we have to bring some to Ian.
And we're going to take one for Ian. Okay, so we're going to mix the dry ingredients together. Self-raising flour, salt and baking powder.
Okay. Self-raising flour, salt, and castor sugar.
The 3 open packets.
Yes. This is what happens when you live in a home with, 6 children?
Yeah.
So there are 3 open packages of castor sugar. Okay. Oh, and then there's another package of castor sugar over here too. We are weighing out how much?
700, so I'm doubling everything.
Okay.
350 for the recipe.
350 grams of self-raising flour, which we refuse to sift because we can't be bothered. Oh, look at this. She's got like cups and teaspoons.
These are from the States.
So Emma is enough of an Americanophile that she's got American cups and teaspoons and tablespoons. So if you're British, tell me, do you have tablespoons and teaspoons in your kitchen?
We're doing 2 teaspoons. Just usually as 1.
Okay, so 1 teaspoon of, what is it, baking powder?
Baking powder.
All right. But we're doing 2 because we're doubling, because we're going to have a lot of scones.
We're going for it.
All right, so we're mixing things together. So apparently we're going to be popping to the shop for butter because...
I'm so sorry. We needed butter. So
we need butter to put in the scones as well as on the scones.
A lot, so.
Oh my. I will provide a link in the description to the BBC Good Food Classic Scone recipe that we're using today. I will also link to Danny's tips for the perfect scones on her channel, Black Cat Kitchen. Now we're going to weigh out our 170 grams of butter, which is 85 grams if you're just making one measly recipe.
Correct. So we're using clover because this is our family favorite.
So that's butter, not margarine.
Not margarine, it's butter.
Okay.
And it just tastes really well. My kids all love it, so it doesn't let me down.
All right. So I'm a little skeptical about the fact that we're using spreading butter, but
it hasn't let me down so far.
The proof is in the pudding. So,
as they say.
Yes. We shall see. I'm optimistic because Emma's made this a few times before and I've never successfully made scones.
The butter, I'm going to work it in.
So you are using your fingers. I read this tip that Cornish housewives claim that the best way to get scones where you haven't overworked it is to use a knife to mix in the butter.
So I was told that doing this with your fingers lifts the air into it. My mother makes pastry a lot. And Welsh cakes, which is another one you'll have to try.
Oh, yes.
So, and they lift the butter and the flour to do that. But we do use the knife to stir in, but that's already when it's kind of already binded to it.
So we're aerating it as well as
We're
incorporating
lifting
the
and
butter.
airing it.
You shouldn't overhandle it because then they might be dense and not light and fluffy.
But I do try and get a fine crumb out of this.
Yes. No, it does look like it's getting to a nice fine crumb now. Now it's a big choice because which bag of sugar do we use for our 6 tablespoons?
6 tablespoons double, and last time we made it, I did add an extra tablespoon of sugar, just for luck.
Just for fun.
To see if it made a difference, and it actually didn't make that much difference. So there's one. Our family have quite a sweet tooth.
Yes. Well, it's not enough that we're putting jam on them. We gotta have like all this sugar inside. It's so funny that Brits always use caster sugar and Americans, we don't even have it.
We don't really bake with granulated sugar. It's always caster. Like, as you see, we always have caster sugar handy.
Yes, it's essential to life.
When your kids put it on their cereal, it makes your heart sink a little because it's not meant for that. Kind of toss it in rather than stir it.
Okay.
And then we're going to leave that sit while we work on the milk.
Oh yes, we're going to curdle the milk. We are doing 175 milliliters of milk. What kind of milk you're using?
I'm just using
semi-skimmed, 2%.
Yeah,
If you're American. And then tell me about this curdling process we're going to do.
So first we have to bring it up to room temperature.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to put it in the microwave for, what did we say? 1 minute. Just 1 minute. It shouldn't be hot and it shouldn't be cold.
See, I was being lazy and say, why don't we just use buttermilk rather than curdling regular milk? But I'm suspending judgment because you've successfully made this and I haven't, and I'm just excited about trying them.
So while that's warming up, I've got my Madagascar vanilla ready.
That's legit.
And we've got, I gotta get my lemon juice out.
Lemon juice, yes, to curdle it.
And we're gonna leave that sit then for a sec while it curdles
Yep.
before we mix it in.
For a regular recipe, it's a teaspoon of the vanilla, and then how much lemon juice are
So
you
it
putting
doesn't
in?
actually say an amount. It just
What?
kind of says a couple of squirts.
Oh my goodness.
So we're guesstimating right now.
Oh my.
And I'm doing that much.
Oh my. I'm very uncomfortable with guesstimating.
It's the British way. It's the Welsh way.
All right, now we're gonna let it do its curdling thing.
Yep.
All right, it's starting to curdle a couple minutes later.
It started to. And that's all it really needs to be, is like that little bitty-ness. Can you see it in the whisk there?
Yeah, a little bit of chunkiness.
I mean, we could add a little bit more.
Or you could just leave it in the garage for a couple days and it'd be really curdled.
Nice.
All right, we're flouring the work surface. Emma has this gigantic island, which is just gorgeous.
We tried to get the biggest one we could without a join in it. So this is what it looks like. Okay, I don't know if that helped, but...
All right, looks great.
But we're just probably gonna add the milk now.
Emma's kitchen is beautiful because she's actually into design, unlike me. My kitchen is so manky looking in Texas. My kitchen in Cheltenham is okay, but that's only because I didn't design it.
We actually took the plaster off the wall, and the brick underneath is crumbling so bad that we couldn't use it as a feature. So we had to have it plastered over. And then these are brick slips. And if you come to this one, we only half bricks. You can see.
Yeah. They're half bricks.
Effect of that.
Brick slips.
Called a brick slips. It's almost like a front of a brick. And
Yes.
I just love it. And I wanted a really messy cement job. So he was being really careful. I'm like, no, put it on, let it smudge.
Messy mortar.
I want it to look like, yeah, kind of messy.
No, and I love the lights too. The light fixtures and the gold accents on everything. No, it's pretty classy, girl. I like it. I like it a lot.
So we're going to mix in the milk, and I'm going to put the trays out as well. Because once you start doing the sticky stuff, I think you kind of have to work.
Yep, gotta be ready. These are the preheated trays that have been in the oven, getting very hot.
Gonna lay these down.
Don't burn yourself.
We have asbestos hands, is it? Is that what?
Yes.
That's what my mother used to say.
Safety first.
I used to say, how do you not burn yourself? Just get used to it.
Oh my.
Okay. So now we're going to mix this in, and I'm going to mix it in with a knife. A friend of mine who recommended this recipe mixes hers with a knife. And touches it very little.
Maybe this is the knife mixing part. Maybe it wasn't the butter, maybe it was the wet ingredients. You're right, you're right.
So it says to make a well in the middle.
Yep.
Just move that. So I'm making a little well, and then I'm going to pour this in. A little curdled milk, and then just try and combine it with as little. At first it kind of seems like it's not doing it, but you just got to keep
Patiently incorporate the wet ingredients into the dry.
That's right, until it's all kind of absorbed.
Oh, it's looking good. It's coming together.
So I can see on the bottom it's all kind of combining there.
Yep,
Just
pulling
check.
away from the bowl a little bit.
Yeah.
No, you're doing great with that knife trick. I totally had the knife trick quote in the wrong place.
What do you think?
Yeah, the Cornish housewives, that sounds like a reality TV show. Okay, idea.
It might be more interesting.
Cornish housewives making scones. What can happen with the knife trick? Yeah, so that's when you do the knife trick, is incorporating the wet ingredients, not the butter.
So now I'm just trying to pull it away from the sides as much as I can, because when I plop it out onto this flour,
Yes.
I don't really want to touch it very
Right,
much.
we want minimal handling once you get it out of the bowl.
True. So I think everything's wet now.
Yep. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, nice.
Didn't quite plop out in one, but
No, but
it's still a little dry there, look.
I would help if I weren't filming, but I'm just useless. I'm just here recording this for posterity. All right.
So we're going to bind that, well, kind of pat it together now. In a sec.
Yes,
And then
there's the shaggy dough ready to become scones.
I'm just sprinkling them a little on,
Okay.
and then just a couple of folds in.
Okay.
Let's get that
The folding helps laminate it so it has layers and gets fluffy.
My friend said just don't do it, and the recipe says 3 times, I'm pretty sure.
And when you say your friend, you mean Keri, right?
I mean my friend Keri.
Our friend. She's my friend too.
She is your friend. And she made me scones, and then I couldn't stop asking for them, so she kind of said, here's the recipe.
Teach a man to fish.
Absolutely. So that's what I did.
All right. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. So now we have to
Just-
not handle it too much,
I'm just making sure it's not sticking anywhere. 'cause it's still
leading up
sticking
to
on
the
there.
all-important cutting part.
So this is how Keri told me to do it. Once it's in your shape, just really gently lift it and stretch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says it's about 4 to 5 centimeters. If
Mm-hmm.
you want nice tall ones, like you do.
I want nice tall scones.
So before we cut it, let's get our egg wash ready,
Okay.
and then we can.
Oh, this is exciting. We're doing an egg wash and she's using a freshly laid chicken egg.
So this is we have a hybrid chicken which lays a mix of like a white egg layer and a blue egg layer. So this egg is
Blue,
kind
oh
of
my goodness.
a grey colour, but they tend to be much more orange in the middle,
Oh, wow.
and they have a much creamier taste. So just a little bit of detail.
Yes, I love it. We have a light blue egg.
And we're just going to give that a quick.
We don't get blue eggs in Texas, Earl, so that's pretty cool.
Don't get any blue eggs.
No blue eggs.
So we just bred another batch of chickens, and we bred them this time with a blue egg laying cockerel. I mean, he doesn't lay the eggs, but his breed lays the blue eggs. So we're hoping that between the hybrids and the blue laying egg cockerel, that we'll have really blue eggs.
All right. I'm now going to have a little intermission and introduce you to the chickens. Back in June, Emma and her husband Terry invited us over for a fabulous Sunday dinner. They are wonderful cooks. And whilst they were working away on the delicious meal, we were introduced to their adorable little chicks. Ian even held one so I could take a photo. Well, here I am several weeks later back at the house, and here are those little chicks, all grown up and running around the back garden. Emma is feeding them bagel bits, and they are loving it. And speaking of Emma, here she is demonstrating how to calm a chicken, which made me laugh hysterically.
All right. Let him go now.
I'm calling Emma the chicken whisperer. They also have some cute sheep in the back garden. But they don't have anything to do with making scones, so back to the kitchen for the rest of this scone video.
I'm using Dara's cutter.
All right, so I've got this floury cutter I brought.
Very pretty, but I'm pretty sure that the scone is not going to hold.
I don't care.
Pattern.
I don't
care.
care.
It's a good generous size.
It's a nice big size.
Before we cut, I've folded the flour back, and we're going to dip that in there.
Okay.
You might have to do that throughout the, actually it doesn't want to stick to yours at all.
It's
a very,
it's very rebellious.
But I've left this quite
thick.
Thick, yeah.
Oh, it's really thick.
Dara is desperate for a thick scone.
What a puffy scone. Oh.
And
yeah.
That is going to be huge.
It is going to be ginormous, but I'm going to eat it and I'm going to love it.
Same. I'm going to put that back in there because it's got a little bit of stick on it.
Okay, try not to twist. I heard that tip.
Don't twist.
If you twist, it's something about how it seals the edges together and makes it not rise as much. So try to just go straight down and straight up.
How about that?
Good. Good. Be brave. You're doing
to
great.
do
Oh, it's perfect.
It so it drops in my hand.
Perfect.
I'm salivating right now.
All right, so we're working the scraps. We've only cut out 6 scones because we made them so gigantic.
It's gonna be delicious.
Yeah, and then she's putting together the scraps, and we're gonna use a smaller cutter. And hopefully the children won't watch this video because then they'll know that we ate all the giant scones and only made puny scones for them.
They're not that small.
No, those are a good size. I mean, lots of times when I go have a really fancy afternoon tea, the scones are smallish scones.
Oh, do you think?
And now for the egg wash.
The final touch. We've got a nice yellowy egg wash.
Make them all glazed and pretty. We're setting the timer for 10 minutes.
We're going to check them.
And then we might do 12 or
An extra
so.
2.
Yeah.
So Dara's turn.
I wore an apron though, a penny.
She did. Dara's wearing my vintage Cadbury's milk chocolate bars apron.
Making scones and wearing a penny with Cadbury wrappers on it.
And she is blending the butter and the flour right now and the dry ingredients.
So if this batch does not turn out, it will be my fault.
Correct. We felt sorry for the kids, so we're making some more for them.
Because our scones are so gigantic. There were none left for the children.
And they are.
This is my attempt at making a well in the middle. Pouring in this, oh my goodness. This milk is so curdled. It's totally gloppy and chunky.
It seems gross, doesn't it?
Looks like zombie vomit, but other than that, it's really appetizing.
So, Dara's having a go at mixing the milk into the flour with the knife.
That's not a knife. Here are the big, beautiful scones, fresh out of the oven. And the smaller scones. And now it's time to devour them. This scone right there has a gorgeous layering flakiness to it. Yeah, that's a nice tall puffy scone. So we've got some traditional Cornish clotted cream, and we've got this new jam I've been eating, which is the Bon Maman brand, but it's the lower sugar jam. And so we're gonna try that. And we've got our lovely mugs of tea, our teacups there. And we're ready to put the cream and jam on these scones. And some fresh strawberries. This one has the clotted cream and jam, and this has the clotted cream and fresh strawberries. So can't wait to dig in. Here's Emma's method. Scone, clotted cream, jam, and fresh strawberries. Okay. Now you've had these before, but did they live up to?
Oh, perfect. Oh
I think she said perfect. That was perfect with a mouthful of scones.
Perfecto. Okay. How's the tea?
That tea is delicious, berry tea. All right. Oh, this is a big mama scone.
True thoughts? Did we nail it?
It is so good. It's not overcooked. It's so tender and
Light.
sweet and moist, and it's perfection. And they are huge. Like one should really be enough. Thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
All right. Our tummies are full of gigantic scones, and they were delicious. What do you think?
They were delicious. I couldn't get enough.
How did they turn out versus when you've made them before?
They were perfect, but I actually really liked going jumbo. I haven't done that before. I usually go a little smaller with the kids, but they loved the jumbo. It was the perfect portion to fill you up.
I think I might have to loan you my cutter until I come back next
I will
summer.
babysit that cutter, no problem.
Put it to good use.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks so much for watching our little scone cooking video. I hope you enjoyed it. And be sure to check out my other disastrous cooking videos here and do something good in the world today.